Hey Leo, how's it going? I got some oracle messages for you here today. I saw a really interesting thing in your meditation and it showed up pretty quickly. It was a flower, and the petals were made out of flame. They were just flaming petals. And in the center of the flower, like on the middle part, I forget what that's called, it was just like a round, soft middle part. And there were a bunch of people dancing on it. And I couldn't see any details in the people, they were all silhouetted. And I couldn't tell if this was a gigantic flower with normal-sized people, or if it was a normal-sized flower with very tiny people. I'm not sure the difference really matters. But then sort of just showing up, like appearing in the air around the flaming flower petals, was this spinning, sparking wheel of light, or like sparks, like I don't know, it kind of looked like a firework, like one of those spinning fireworks, and it was just spinning and spinning, and it was kind of white, maybe tinged with gold light. And I got the sense of that there was like music playing, some kind of rhythmic, heavy rhythmic, bass heavy music. I couldn't really hear it, I just got this sense of vibration, of rhythmic vibration. It's very interesting, it's very pretty looking. And the I Ching hexagram I pulled for you was Gun, or keeping still, mountain on top of mountain. So here it's, the obvious interpretations for this are taking time to yourself, taking time for meditation, taking time to contemplate the seeds you've planted. What kind of seeds have you planted? What do you want them to grow into? What do you think they're really going to grow into? Do you still want them to grow into the same thing? Trying to think about all the seeds you've planted and the road you're walking and how it's going to unfold, thinking about how you want it to unfold, thinking about how it will probably realistically unfold, and how in harmony are those two things. It's about prognostication. This is really about doing your best to tell the future, looking for patterns, extrapolating patterns from the past into the future, trying to predict what's going to happen. And knowing when to rest from activity and when to sit in stillness, and not overworking yourself. Make sure you take time to yourself and really just relax and take stock, Another thing that came up, which was a bit more intuitive with this keeping still mountain on mountain, was being the center of gravity, or the hub of a wheel for something to kind of happen around you without being disturbed by it or really disturbing it. Just sort of, I heard the phrase, allow the accretion disk to form. An accretion disk is an astrophysics term. It basically refers to a circle of stuff that forms around a center of gravity. And astrophysicists theorize that this is how planets are formed. A bunch of stuff starts to collect in like a gravity well and will eventually coalesce into a more solid object, or a bigger object, which eventually becomes a planet. And I kind of got that feeling from that spinning sparkly thing around the flower, around the flaming flower. It was a disc, it was like an accretion disk of light. So maybe there's something that you just have to allow happen, and you can be like the hub of the wheel or the center of gravity, and give it like an anchoring point. You can provide like a route for this thing to happen naturally. There's some abundance of energy around you that you don't really need to do much at this time for it to take a shape. So see what that could be in your life. Like, what kind of energies are forming around you that might be in a more raw and wild state right now, but could potentially form into something solid and foundational and productive. So I'm going to develop this reading for you further, Leo. I'm going to spin a coin on my little table here with a bunch of symbols carved into it. It'll land on one of these symbols, and we'll pull some tarot cards and develop this further. So what does Leo need to know? The nurse. It's the symbol of a little heart rate monitor. The nurse. So that's like selflessness, knowledgeableness. Knowledgeableness? Is that a word? Knowing how to take care of little problems as they arise, being able to react to things as they arise, also being able to know when not to react, when to let something go, when something seems like it might be a problem, but you know it's just part of the process and it has to go through. You know, like knowing how to break a fever or something like that. Sometimes there are some processes that look like they're getting worse, when in fact it's just part of the healing process. It's just how these things unfold, and knowing when to like not tamper with it while it's in this state. The nurse, you know, all the symbolism of helpfulness, compassion, healing, knowledge about healing. So let's see here. What does Leo need to know about the nurse and keeping still? These flowery flames. So we have the Three of Wands. Here on this deck it says established strength, I think, if I remember correctly. Yes, established strength. So yeah, this is a guy here who has like his own fleet of merchant ships, right? And he's just kind of watching his business unfold. He's established himself and has a great deal of success in setting something up. And now it kind of just runs almost without him. Not that he's not needed, because he is the center of gravity for this enterprise. If something happened to him, it's like cutting the head off of a snake. The enterprise would probably fail. But he put in a great deal of work throughout his life to establish this enterprise. And all that work eventually paid off to the point where he now doesn't have to do much work. And things just sort of happen around him. Like you can consider his enterprise to be like that accretion disk now that just forms its own thing. And this coming out on the nurse aspect here is, well, it could be many things. It could be maybe you've been practicing or studying the healing arts in some capacity for a long time now, and your knowledge has gotten to a point where you need to rest. You know, sometimes when we're doing intensive learning, it can be incorrect or inefficient to keep learning new things without first resting on the stuff that you have already learned, because you need to give your mind time to catch up and to really absorb it. So maybe if you finished like one chapter of a type of learning and you're really ready to learn something new, it might be related but somewhat different. Maybe give it a couple of days or maybe even a couple of weeks, I don't know, but absorb what you've just learned and take it in those types of steps where you break it down into chunks and you really just absorb and don't really start anything new in the learning process until you are totally relaxed. And, you know, like how we study before going to bed, right? And then we sleep. And then the next day it's a lot more integrated. The knowledge is a lot easier to remember and it's more integrated in ourselves. If we keep studying and studying and studying and moving on to new things, because maybe we're really excited or maybe we feel like we have limited time or for any other reason, we can forget some things. They kind of get pushed out of our mind. They don't really sink in deeply and then they can get kind of scattered. So establishing knowledge within yourself sometimes takes a lot of rest and not to push it too far too fast, to know when to keep still it's a form of advancement. Keeping still is a form of advancement. So to be compassionate with yourself when you take time to yourself, when you take time to rest, that you are still moving forward. You might feel like, oh, I don't have time to just sit around and drink tea and enjoy the sunshine today. I have to keep working. I have to keep learning. I have to keep doing this. Well, taking that day or that weekend or whatever, that vacation or something to just sit around in the sunshine and drink tea is actually going to be very, very beneficial for you. It's going to keep you healthy and sane. It's going to help you absorb and progress. Without that keeping still and allowing yourself to keep still, being kind with yourself, your learning endeavors or your working progress is going to be a lot rougher. You know, taking time is very healing, and it is necessary on the road of advancement. You can't just advance and advance and advance all the time. And you know, this guy, you know, he's kind of chilling. He's just sort of watching. You know, he trusts the captains of those ships to be doing their job correctly, and he's just looking at them from a distance, and he's okay with it. He doesn't have to micromanage everything. He can just watch it happen, and he's trusting of them, and he believes in their abilities, and he knows it'll work out just fine. I'm going to pull another card for you here. Yeah. There's a lot of solar energy in this card too. And, you know, the sun rules Leo. Does Leo rule the sun? I always get those two mixed up. That's an interesting topic that used to be debated in the medieval era. Whether the planets rule the zodiac signs or if the zodiac signs rule the planets. Some people say the stars are further away, so that means they have primacy. But then other people say, well, because the planets are closer to us, they have primacy, and the stars are further away. Interesting logical arguments that go back centuries. Aggression. Videbatur in the Latin. So here we have a scorpion. Looks like he's under attack. Who are the aggressors? The scorpion or the spearman? Or perhaps both. Coming out with the nurse. Well, one thing is to take care of your heart at this time. Make sure you're healthy. Get a good checkup. You know, maybe don't do things that cause you stress, or like reduce the things that like increase your blood pressure, right? Maybe turn off the news. Don't watch the news for a while. Don't let anything bother you. Cut the things out of your life that you don't need, that cause you stress. Especially things with your heart. You know, make sure you're doing the appropriate exercises or the appropriate resting phases that you need to whatever it is that you need for your cardio health. You know, take that seriously at this time. Make sure you're relaxing. Yeah, I'm getting like a blood pressure vibe that, you know, breathe deeply, relax, have good posture, make sure you have good blood flow going to all parts of your body. You know, imagine the blood flowing to all different parts of your body, and that you're getting oxygen to everything, and just imagine the good, enriching energy flow throughout your whole system. And maybe you want to look into like eurythmy or other types of body awareness practices that help bring vitality to all the organs and limbs and parts of your body. And avoid stressful situations. You know, keeping still at this time. You know, you might just need a vacation. You might just need to unplug the phone. We don't have phones that are plugged in anymore. Turn off the phone. Unplug the internet. Be out of touch for a while. You know, set up a new voicemail. Thanks for calling. I'll get back to you in a week. Like, put up some good boundaries and just protect your energy at this time, and do what is right for your health, for your mental health, and for your emotional health. It's really important at this time for you to just take time for yourself, to yourself. Cut out the nonsense. Cut out the things that you don't need right now. Maybe people need you too bad. You got to look out for now is the time for you to look out for yourself. And it might feel selfish, and it might be. But you know what? That's life. And sometimes you just have to do what's right for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to lose it, or something unhealthy is going to happen. And then those people who depend on you are really going to be at a loss, because you're either going to lose your patience with them, or you're going to lose your good state of health and never be able to help them again. So while it might feel selfish in the short term, I don't think it is. I think you're just looking after yourself, and you have every right to do so. If people can't get on, well, if competent, capable, healthy, normal adults can't get on without you, then there's something wrong with them. Of course, there are other types of people who obviously depend on us for various reasons, mental, medical, children, that sort of stuff. Yeah, you can't take too many liberties with those sorts of responsibilities. But any obligations or responsibilities that you have with competent, capable adults, put them on hold for now. Take care of yourself. And avoid, anything that's gonna bring out stress and anger or anything like that. Just knock it out of your life. Now is not necessarily the time to figure out how to spiritually overcome such emotions, how to go through the trials of anger and fire, to know how to sublimate stress and anger into other things. Those are great things, and you need to do those. We all need to do those exercises, and that requires us to expose ourselves to stressful situations, because just running and hiding from stressful situations all the time is not good for us. But in some instances, we absolutely have to. Humans need vacations. We need to take a break every now and again. Now's one of those times. So don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it at all. Because like I said, if you don't take the time for yourself now, it might have pretty awful results in the future. You don't want to push yourself. You don't want to push others. You don't want to, don't go past your breaking point. Do what you can handle, and no more. You don't have to. Those people will be fine without you. And if they're not fine without you, they gotta rethink their lives. I'm gonna pull a token for you, Leo. Oh, the sun is peeking out, but that's not the one we're gonna take. Well, it might be. Let's see. What does Leo need to know? We have the astrological sign for Aquarius, and the number 11. So this is part of my Zodiac series, and yeah, 11 can be a number of unity and can also be a number of division. It's both at the same time. So yeah, there could be just some people you need to take a break from, people that mean a lot to you and you mean a lot to them, and it's all good, but you need time for yourself, and you need to make it clear to them that now's the time where you're going to keep still for a while. And Aquarius is the sign of humanism, the sign of mutual understanding and mutual benefit. And I think everyone around you will have that feeling. I think they'll have a humanistic approach to this, a pragmatic understanding, a compassionate understanding, a communal understanding and support about it. So I don't think you have to worry about that. This is coming out on the nurse aspect, right? So I get that vibe. Maybe there's something here that maybe you have some new idea for health, for your health, or maybe you work in the health field in some capacity. Maybe you're a healer in some way, and you have some innovative idea that's coming to you that you need to really sit with and rest with and work on and meditate on and contemplate. That's something that's going to subdue and control and sublimate negativity or really harsh emotions like aggression. Maybe you've got some epiphany coming in, some great innovative insight that's going to hit you or that has hit you and you need to develop in a state of meditation, or that soon will hit you in a state of meditation. And so now you need to clear your mind and allow that insight to come to you. Give this Aquarian innovation, this healing arts evolution to come to you in a state of stillness, because if you keep working, or keep learning, you might not get this insight. You might have fertile soil with a really good seed that's sprouting, and you don't want to cover it up by watering it too much, like learning too much or continuing working, or by running over the soil, stomping all over it. You gotta, maybe there's this good seed in there that you haven't noticed so much, or maybe you have, but now's the time to really just let it grow. Put your attention on that seed, and then watch how it grows into this innovative insight in the healing arts, or in your own healing, or in your own spiritual path. I think you're going to gain maybe something very novel, something that other people haven't thought of, or that you're unaware that other people have thought of, and it will be original to you, or from you. It will feel original to you. It will be like your own insight, and that might unlock like just a new chapter of self-healing, of helping others to heal, and things like that. So yeah, I think keeping still now is going to be extremely important, and I think you have some, I want to say healing. I heard cooling balm. Like there's going to be something that you discover in this keeping still that's going to become like a new tool in your toolkit that you can draw upon at any time to solve problems of negativity, to solve flare-ups, to put out fires as they arise. Very cool. So Leo, I think that's where the Oracle and I are gonna stow it for today. End it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always appreciate you stopping by. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.